Chapter 26. The rain stopped Wednesday morning. The sun, bright and full, announced the new day. Streets were flooded, cars were overturned. They'd been in the shelter for 2 days, living in a time warp. We just want to get home, the people said. Home to what? That was the question. Grandpa, the trash king, and Tree were working hard to make sure some of it would be positive. The sign. That's the first thing people noticed. It made up for the smell, which was rank and persistent and hung over Ripley like foul gas. Mildew, piles of yuck. It rose from the streets, infiltrated the nostrils. But the sign. Grandpa lugged parts of it from his workshop over the garage, wired it. The trash king stood on the ladder and balanced it on the roof of Temple Beth Israel, a roof most people could see coming from the back of the middle school. It overlooked the park, too. Rabbi Toller turned on the generator. Tree held the ladder as King fixed the big sign in place. Plug her in, Rabbi. Let there be light, Rabbi Toller announced. Pow. Welcome home, folks. We're going to make it. People were honking their horns in their trucks, cars, and vans when they saw it. The Trash King, Tree, and Grandpa grinned as the photographer from the Ripley Herald took photo after photo of that sign. Why'd you do it? The reporter asked. What made you think of it? The old soldier smiled. We wanted to encourage the town, Grandpa said. Give people something good to come home to. They didn't mention the most important part. You've got to welcome people back when they've been through a war. Nobody understands that more than a Vietnam vet. The shock of loss was everywhere. A flooded out house is a ghastly sight, especially when it's yours. They'd call the insurance company, turned off the electricity. Tree, Dad, and Grandpa stood on the muck-covered hall carpet wearing white masks passed out by the public health department. No one spoke. The couch was soaked and dirty. The stereo was turned upside down. Lamps lay broken on the floor, tables upended. Brown watermarks 3 feet up on the first floor walls. Lower kitchen cabinets opened, soaked cereal boxes, broken dishes, piles and piles of what could never be used again. Tree's clothesline invention hung untouched from the ceiling, casting shadows. Tree stepped across the mushy rug. He could hardly stand the fumes. He'd lived in this house most of his life, and now this, too, was going to be a memory. Grandpa said, We rebuild with what we've got. But there wasn't anything left except the second floor. The basement windows had popped out. 5 feet of murky water sat in the basement with dirty clothes, empty paint cans, basketballs, and footballs floating on the surface. Grandpa steadied himself. Old Ironsides. But Tree wasn't built of such strong stuff. He couldn't take any more. He leaned against the dining room wall and started to cry.